All right, episode 3 of the show, the Eric and Brad show. We're back again. How's it going, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good.
You have a good
We're
week?
on Spotify, Apple
Oh,
Podcasts, YouTube. I think that's just about it. Eric and Brad show at gmail.com. Eric and Brad show at gmail.com.
and that's Erick, Erick. And yeah, email us with anything. It would be awesome. Any idea or any question or any topic you want to throw in?
Yeah.
Throw it at us.
Questions, comments. Oh, so some corrections from last week. Sawyer had some corrections he wanted to make.
Okay. Okay. Throw it at me.
Talk to you about that.
No.
Apparently in Idaho, when we were talking about you need those off-road registration tags for off-road vehicles, you do need those in Idaho.
Oh yeah, Vince hit me up about that. And dude, I've never seen one.
Yes, so I blamed you mainly.
Okay, well that's fine. I talk out of my ass a lot, so we're good.
Yes. Anyway. Onward and upward.
Any other corrections? That was just the correction, the off-road tag deal?
I think that was the main one. He disagreed with you that bicycles needed tags and stuff like that, but
Did he give any explanation to why they don't need tags?
just because they don't damage the road.
Okay.
So I am now hardwired in.
Oh, yes.
Hardwired in.
Well, that is you might want to turn that one down a little bit. That was very loud.
Shit, sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh, okay.
Is it, do you notice a difference at all?
I did a speed test, an internet speed test, download and upload speeds. I noticed a difference there. I'm just wondering if it'll do any difference, like, in the show. The final product. But have you heard of those things, power line adapters?
No, I've never heard. Nope.
A little nerdy story. I rented a house in Idaho, and it was this big house, but it was only 2 bedrooms. It was very old. It had a wooden gate. It had 3 driveways. It had 2 garages. It had a giant pond in the back, and it had a guest house. Right?
You rented this place?
Yes.
Damn. Okay.
It was huge, but it was very old. And my little brother was going to live in the guest house. No bathroom, just power. No running water. And I was like, okay, I got to get internet out to the guest house, right? And
Okay.
there was this huge problem. It took me like 4 or 5 days to figure out how to solve. I'm like, how do I get internet out to the guest house? Because it wouldn't pick up the router signal from the main house. Probably lead paint and asbestos and all kinds of things blocking.
Just blocking the signal? Okay.
Yeah, plus like 200 feet of distance, and it wouldn't pick up the signal. So I'm like, so people, always talk about these Wi-Fi boosters. So I'm like, I'll buy a booster thing, right? So I go to Staples, I buy like a booster, and there's like a low model, a medium model, and a higher model, differs in prices and strength and stuff like that. I probably buy the medium one. I put it in an outlet in the wall closest to the guest house, even though it's still like 200 feet away. Still doesn't work. Go take it back to Staples, go buy the higher priced one. Put that in the same wall closest kind of to where the guest house would be. Still doesn't work. Put it on the outside of the house because I'm like, all right, I was trying to go through 2 walls.
Yeah.
Go through the guest house wall. And then I was starting to get very concerned about weather, like rain and snow and whatnot. Still wasn't enough. So then my boss tells me about these things that he has that piggyback off the electrical wiring in your house to carry the Wi-Fi and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay. He's like, I'll bring them to you. 2 or 3 days goes by. He keeps forgetting to bring them to me. So then I just go to Staples and start asking about it. And they give me a power line adapter. So what it is you plug it directly into your router and then plug it into an outlet in the wall, not into like a power strip or anything like that, or an extension cord, into an outlet in your wall. And I'm like, all right, if like this is all in the same property, there's probably the electrical wiring in the house and the electrical wiring in the guest house, I'm sure, intersect at some point. So I plug it into an outlet in the house. Then you go plug a a piece, like a little tiny half a router thing, into the guest house, into an outlet. Boom, works like a charm. So
I've never heard about this.
Yeah, it was so genius, and I didn't know it existed, but I wish somebody would have told me about them. So now in this house, there's a wall separating where my router is to where I am right here. So I was like, okay, you could just drill through the wall, which I'm sure a lot of people would just do. But all I had to do was just put that power line adapter in there, hardwire it into the router, and then plug the little other piece into here, and then hardwire that straight into the computer, and my internet speed fucking quadrupled because it's basically hardwired in. It just piggybacks off the electric.
I mean, that makes sense to me, but it kind of doesn't make that's bananas. I've never heard about this and I've ran into this same issue like a lot.
Yeah.
At my last house, I was trying to set up. I had a separate garage from my house, and I had my studio and my band studio inside my garage. And during this time, I was trying to get into doing live streaming, and like you need like super, you can't have that choppy. Just makes for like playing music that sucks. Oh, dude, I had the most ghetto system going on ever because like I upgraded my internet to gig internet just to get my upload speed because you need your upload speed like jacked up. Yeah. And I tried one Wi-Fi, but again, it was the same issue. I was like, I got the connection, but it was kind of a bad connection. But yeah. I ended up went out and bought 100-foot Ethernet cable and just like, dude, it was so ghetto. It was like out a window, up, I like under the gutter, then it like hang to the garage across the way and like snuck through doors. Yeah, it was. And then I'd take, anytime I knew the landlord was coming, I knew he was going to bitch about it. So I'd like have to take it all down, like when he was going to come over to the house and rig it all back up.
Because the garage was like detached from the house.
Yeah. It was like 15 feet away from the house.
Yeah. And then I always hear that if you you buy too long of a cable and spread it out way too far, then you just lose all your, like all the ground you're trying to cover with the speed.
I was wondering that with Ethernet. I'm not a computer guru person, and I can't remember. Like I know one time I spent an A+, we like went over all the Ethernet stuff. It worked for me fine at 100 feet. I believe I had a 100-footer. It had to have been more than 50 feet. It might have been a 50-footer, but I don't know. Well, talking out of my ass.
If anybody has any kind of similar problem, that's a fucking great solution. And any kind of booster signal. This one just goes right through your like electrical wiring or something.
What's it called again? A power line booster?
Power line adapter.
Power line adapter? Yeah, that's dope. Never heard about that.
I was pretty impressed that I figured the problem out. It took me like 4 or 5 days and like 3 different Staples refunds.
Boom. Dude, have you been watching or have you seen anybody talk about Waco? You know what I'm talking about?
I've seen that new Netflix season on there, but I haven't watched it yet.
You haven't watched it? So I started to watch it.
Yeah.
Made it about, I think, halfway through the first episode and got mad and just turned it off and was like, this is stupid. And then I've seen people posting, and like my girlfriend texted me yesterday and she's like, I cried during Waco and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, do you know what it is? Are you privy to what the show is all about? I mean, obviously Waco, Texas, but it also like the story like coincides with the Ruby Ridge thing. Like, how much do you know about Ruby Ridge?
I mean, I've seen documentaries on it.
You're kind of privy. How
are they connected?
Well, it's so a lot of things are really connected. It's not only is Waco, Texas, and Ruby Ridge not directly connected, but it's kind of connected. Not only that, but the Oklahoma City bombing, that all this stuff took place in like a year or 2 year period from each other. And they all kind of, it was all about anti-government, militias and blah, blah, blah. But anyways, I stopped it. So I can't say exactly how the show goes, but I got a pretty good gist of what they were doing. Like right off the bat, it was very making these people out to be like, martyrs for government control. And you know what I mean? Like the story that I was raised in Idaho is like the Randy Weaver, Ruby Ridge thing is that, the government came in and fucking, killed his wife with a baby in her hand, and, how the piece for a shotgun that was sawed off, but they conveniently forget to tell like the whole story of what actually happened. And I grew up like my dad, I vividly remember my whole life, my dad always loved to tell that story. And he's definitely on the anti-government side, fuck the government. They're pieces of shit. FBI came in, killed this. But like, if you really dig into that story, like it is fucked up that they killed his wife, all that. I believe they killed his son too. But he the shotgun thing was a year before that. And they had summoned him for a year over and over and over again. And he kept skipping court dates. And like, so at a certain point, it's like, you can't be a martyr for this. Like you chose this path. Like the government didn't just like come in one day, like unexpected. Like you were in trouble. You had a warrant out for your arrest for a year, and like you just wouldn't leave your property, and you
backed yourself into a corner.
It really just irritates me. And I saw some people post about it, just like, oh, it's so sad what happened. And the same thing with Waco. So the show is more based around Waco, but the same thing. It's like, it gets this like the military came in, they burned the building down, blah, 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 blah. But there's a flip side to that. If you're looking for a fight and the fight comes to you, you know what I mean? Like it's your fault. You can't just like, oh, these poor people. Like, what are you talking about? All these people they wanted this fight. You know what I mean? They spent their whole life talking about, oh, the government's going to cut, yeah. I don't know. I think it's bullshit.
Well, now I kind of want to watch it since it made you mad. Cause I don't even think I've really seen any documentaries or anything like that on Waco.
And, do you know about, oh, sorry.
And like growing up in North Idaho, I didn't even know about Ruby Ridge until like a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you know the Skinners by chance? I probably shouldn't just be name dropping people, but there was a family that we were friends with, a Jewish family, and they like lived off the grid on Ruby Ridge. They were next door neighbors to them. And like I was up on Ruby Ridge, 15 years ago with these people, and I didn't even know where I was. And they're like, oh, we're on Ruby Ridge. I'm like, whoa, what? Like Randy Weaver, Ruby Ridge? And they're like, yeah, that happened right there, like right over there. And I'm just like, holy shit. And I don't know. It just, do you know anything about like Killdozer? Like, I don't know. I feel like there's all these stories that like people get made, and I'm all about it. I'm all about, fuck the government, and in Ruby Ridge. Yeah. They fucking killed his wife with a baby in her hand. That is fucked up. No doubt. But like making it out to be the government, big bad government, just willy nilly is just going around. No, these people are, part of, Aryan nations groups. They're stockpiling automatic, illegal weapons, blah, 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 blah. You don't get to just live in this anarchist state and then cry when the government does something about it.
I see what you're saying. And I don't know too much of the Waco stuff, so maybe I should jump into that. But it's not like that's not even like a documentary. That's just like a dramatization, like with actors.
That's what irritates me, is because like people are going to see that and just take it at, just take that director's idea and just like go with that. Like, oh my God, it's so sad. It's like, no, really dig into those stories a little bit. And they're all pieces of shit. Like all those stories, they're all pieces of shit. Whether it be the Killdozer guy, the Randy Weaver, or you just said is it David Koresh or whatever. They're fucking batshit. They wanted fights and they got him. The Killdozer one's absolute bullshit. And that guy gets like super, sticking it to the man, fucking went and destroyed that town. Like that guy's story is bullshit. That guy had a great fucking life. He was making a lot of money, and it all is about this piece of property that he was trying to get. And fucking dude, it was like 10 years. He could have solved it so many different ways. And then he went out and was like, fuck. And then destroys the town. Everyone's like, oh man, this poor guy. Like, what are you talking about? He was living well. He was not getting fucked at all. Could have made his money back on the property, and then decides to go, fucking, yeah.
Yeah, people love to romanticize stuff. You know, especially a good story about someone fucking rising up against the government.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm all about it, but it's just, I think it's dangerous to just, take tidbits of information and be like, make these people out to be heroes. It's kind of bullshit, especially when like, good people died. Like, I don't know, like over the years, I've gotten more of a soft spot for like the blue, like police officers and stuff like that. I grew up, fuck cops, but it's no, dude, most of them are good fucking people. You know what I mean? Like, and you can't, I don't know.
Yeah. Did you ever watch that Wild Country?
Yeah, we just finished that one. I had never heard about that one. That one was fucking bananas.
That was probably one of the best like documentary series that I've ever seen in my life. That was fucking amazing.
I want to explain a little bit on that one, people that don't know that one, because I bet a lot of people don't. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's been like 2 years since I saw it. It was about these, the
Rajneeshis?
Yeah, this huge cult of people that just took over this town in Oregon, and just sort of bought up everything and changed all the laws and just sort of made it all for themselves and like bust people in order to get votes and just created this huge fucking paradise. Well, whatever. Huge of like their own city up there, just taking over this town over their awesome cult leader, the fucking Bhagwan or whatever his name is.
No, it's the Rajneeshis. Isn't that it?
Yeah.
I think it's the Rajneeshis.
They called him like the Bhagwan.
Oh, yeah. I was kind of playing video games and watching my girlfriend watch it, so I was in and out of that documentary, but
yeah. And it's been a while since I saw it, but that was amazing.
Yeah, so what the big deal wasn't really that they built that town. It was like the neighbors inside that town and the county, they were like changing laws that other people didn't want changed. And it was, I believe, the Dalles is in that county. And then so they went to the Dalles and they like poisoned a bunch of people like at this rest. That was like the big deal, when everything kind of went down, just to give more information, people listening to it, right? I'm like, I believe 2 restaurants, they like poisoned a bunch of people and all these people got sick and they were just trying to kill off the Dalles, I guess. Like,
jeez, that's craziness. See, I like Wild Country like way more than Tiger King. I'll have to
one's comedy and one's super interesting.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. What else you got? What you got?
What else I got? I got some more stuff. Something else that I found interesting and an idea I've kind of been tossing in my head.
Nice.
Did you know? Did we talk? I'm confused if we already talked about this. Did we talk about internet porn and like growing up without internet porn versus like kids today versus like how we grew up or how I grew up?
We didn't talk about that.
Okay, well, this all started with hearing a statistic. Did you know that 20% of all web searches are for porn? Like across the board.
Wow.
Isn't that bananas?
That almost seems low.
I know, when you really when I first heard it, I'm like, whoa. And then, after you think about it for a little bit, you're like, hey, it should be more like 40%.
Yeah, because I don't know. I always hear about when guys talking about it, they're like, they say, even like someone like Theo Vaughn or someone talking about it, saying that that they'll search for it for like an hour. They'll spend like an hour searching for porn. And I feel like a lot of times other searches, you're like, what year was Billy Bob Thornton born? You're just like, you type this, you search it, and boom, there's your answer. And then I hear things of guys talking about they'll spend like an hour searching for it. So that makes me almost think that the percentage would have been higher.
You mean an hour searching through like a website and then just searching videos out? Or you mean like searching for a website?
No, okay. Searching through a website. Okay. Maybe that makes a difference.
Yeah. So what that kind of like where it put my head was, how fucked up, like, is it, how fucked up would it be to grow up now? Like
really fucked up.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel really bad for kids now. Like, think about it. Like, you turn on a website and like watch the shit going down. It's bananas and it's not real. And I don't think kids nowadays can separate, like understand that people are like acting, or they're like professional, even when it says like amateur, they're professional, they're, you know what I mean? 90% of the times that's banana shit. Like they're going to have anal sex or something like that. And it's just bam, right in. It's like, that's not real world shit. You know what I mean? That's not that's not how relationships are formed. Like, right. I'm scared for kids. Like,
it's just, and I have no idea, like the fucking countrywide or worldwide, mass effect that it's going to have, 10 years down the road, the consequences of just carrying stuff like that around in your pocket, things that generations before didn't have. And it's crazy, even in the past fucking 5 years, just all how family oriented it is in all the titles. It's all step. The whole thing is just step. It's a world of step headlines.
It really goes to show you, like,
because it wasn't like that 15 years ago. There wasn't the whole thing wasn't just step.
Well, I think I think there's two things there. I think a lot of things were real and the fantasies were real, but people were nervous to talk about. You know what I mean? 10 years ago, you wouldn't have ever brought up like any weird, Oedipus type deal going on. But now it's just everyone feels kind of anonymous. So it's just getting easier and easier for people to talk about things. But then I also do think that's one side. And then the other side of that is just like, you're getting exposed to crazy shit. And then so you're kind of like immune to being excited. So then you just step up your game a little bit more to be like risque and like, ooh, yeah. And because nowadays it's just like anal sex. Fuck, that's first base. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, what's even crazier is like 15 years ago, I'm going to stick with saying 15 years ago. It was like, and that was when, say, I was a young innocent teenage boy. And it was still kind of I think the idea was still like you had to go to the video store and rent a DVD.
Yeah.
The generation before me, I'm sure, I don't even know if they could have done that. They had to go to like a sex store and buy shit instead of like a video store, like, I don't know, a video store next to a grocery store. You had to go rent a porno DVD.
Yeah.
Because one had dial-up internet, and it's like it just wasn't going to work.
And kids nowadays, I bet you it's the average kid sees their first porn, and I mean good quality, full clip porn at probably under the age of 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is so sad. I vividly remember the first time I was probably in the 4th or 5th grade, and it was walking through the woods. And some high schoolers had left a magazine cut out. You know what I mean? Like, and you're just like, oh my God. And you see a nipple and you're like, oh. Yeah. Where that's like, fuck, that ain't shit compared to nowadays.
Well, because it's probably so easy to just take a fucking wrong turn on the internet. Boom, wrong turn. There you are.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because if you're on Twitter, because Twitter is uncensored, like completely uncensored. And there's like porn stars, you can follow porn stars, and they're just posting clips of their work. So it's like Twitter completely uncensored, Reddit completely uncensored. I mean, it's just, and then, all the websites is just, are you 18? Yes or no? Yes.
Yeah. And even sites that are, even the lighter side of that, even like Instagram.
Yeah.
Incredibly sexualized. You know what I mean? Like, and then so you're going to see that and be like, oh, well, how the fuck do I see this girl naked? You know what I mean? Like,
and then she tells you in her captions.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then there's the whole, in the past, I'll say 2 years, we've had the rise of OnlyFans. Do you know what OnlyFans is?
Dude, I've just started hearing about this in the last few weeks, and I don't understand exactly what it is.
Well, it's a way for like regular people to, just sort of basically become porn stars. It's like an Instagram that you have to, like, if you have your Instagram page, I have to pay to follow your Instagram page. It's kind of like that. A monthly thing. $5 a month, $10 a month, $15 a month. And then that person is just posting nude pictures of themselves.
Videos too, or just pictures?
Yeah. Yep. Videos too.
Huh.
And people are making big money.
I mean, I've heard about it, and I know that the live thing on like, porn sites is becoming a bigger and bigger thing, like Pornhub and YouPorn. Yeah, like essentially kind of the same thing you're talking about, but it's like live. Just people just set up a fucking webcam and just
yeah.
Cam
girls. I mean,
yeah.
OnlyFans is just, I mean, it's a way for like, some girl who just works at fucking Burger King. She wants to make some extra money. Boom, she goes and makes an OnlyFans. She starts posting up on one nude picture a week, and she starts getting followers that are now paying $10 a month. So you get 10 followers, now you're making $100 a month. You get 50, you're now making an extra $500 a month. And 50 is not that many if you think about it. I mean, someone can probably get a fucking 1,000 followers on there. Yeah,
fuck yeah. It's not only just amateur people, right? It's like porn stars and stuff doing this now, right?
Yeah.
Because that's all I've heard. I haven't really heard the amateur thing. I thought it was more like the porn girls are getting away from doing videos and just kind of taking over their own media.
Yeah,
that's what I kind of thought it was.
This lady I follow named Angela Yee, who's a host of a radio show, she posted a screenshot saying someone sent her a picture of someone DM'd this to me, their OnlyFans, and it's like, January 2020 they made 17,000, December 2019 they made 17,000.
Oh my god.
November 2019 they made 17,000. Tips, just off tips they've made 18,000, and then just off subscriptions they've made 83,000.
Dude, that is balling out of control is what that is.
Balling. But here, you could make the argument, you could be like, this is a lot safer than stripping. This is a lot safer than, meeting up with shady people in hotel rooms. I don't know.
I don't have any issue with it. I do think you lose some credibility, but I don't see any issue with that at all.
Yeah. It's just it's gonna show its effect 10 to 20 years from now.
Well, it's already, they've already linked a lot of stuff, like with ED cases in the last 10 years have skyrocketed. And it's, they're essentially saying, it's from a lot of guys like watching porn at a young age, and they're like looking at their own dick and then looking at these fucking hogs, and they're like, well, I'm fucking inadequate. You know what I mean? And then they just kind of grow up with that mindset. And they've already made that connection. And I guarantee that would link, it'd be hard to link like suicide to that, but I would assume that would be, there would be a percentage uptick in the same thing, just, men feeling inadequate and then, shoot themselves.
Right. And it's definitely good. It's only going to hurt when it comes to just feeling more and more isolated.
Yeah. And then, when I'm saying like the dick size thing, but not only with porn, but then just with women, the depression with women, it's not only the porn thing, it's like Instagram star, you know what I mean? Like everywhere a woman looks, it's like these tens just everywhere, perfect hands, fucking big breast, huge ass. And then I'm sure that's done a massive, from 50 years ago when every woman was covered, you know what I mean? Like everywhere you looked.
Yeah. And then seeing those pictures and accounts just getting all the attention in the world. It's
and
clearly this is what gets attention. Clearly.
Yeah.
If you're not doing attention.
It's probably worse being on the girl side. I'm assuming, I don't know, but I would assume that'd be if you're like an ugly girl, there's nothing you're going to do about it. You're just dealt that hand. You know what I mean? What are you going to do? And then you have to spend your whole life looking around you and like, I'm fucking ugly and all these bitches, you know what I mean? Just.
I think everybody can make themselves look attractive, but some people have it easier than others.
A lot of yeah. Boom. You got any topics to throw around?
Yeah, I have a Reddit question. It's an interesting one. There's actually two of them.
Throw it at me.
Questions from Reddit. So these were from this week. The first one got 11,200 likes or comments. Sorry, Jesus, comments. And this kind of coincided with what we were talking about last week, which is why I picked it. But there's a population of 7.5 billion humans and 19 billion chickens at any given time. If there was a chicken rebellion, how would you prepare to fight off your 2.7 chickens? Right?
2 chickens per person?
2.7.
So 2.5 chickens per person.
Yes.
Dude, I could take 10 chickens easily.
Wow. So, okay. I've been thinking about this for about a day. I've spent the last day kind of sitting in a dark room with nothing on, just sort of thinking about this question, pondering it, deep thought. And one guy commented, he helped me. He was saying, well, he has a 4-year-old daughter, so he's basically going to have to take on her chickens as well. He was saying like she could probably handle herself one-on-one, but one-on-two, she would be in a real
Well, and then old people too, anybody in a wheelchair over 90, they're going to have a hard time fighting a chicken.
And I didn't even think about this really till the next question, which is basically the same exact question, but this is a chicken rebellion. Okay, this isn't
so they're pissed.
Yes, they're trying to kill you. So then I'm thinking, okay, it's just me. I don't have anyone, that I'm responsible for that I have to take on their chickens as well. But it's probably just going to I'm going to have to end up taking on someone else's chickens, right?
Yeah, well, it's going to become, a militia type environment. It's not just going to be every man for himself. Like either the military is going to get involved or your street's going to get involved or friends are going to get involved.
Right.
But then that totally depends on how the chickens, what the chickens are doing. Is it just guerrilla warfare out there, or are they lining up like order? Are you going to be an American? Be like, where all the fucking chickens go? And then Mexico's just getting fucked by chickens. You know what I mean? Are they working in numbers across states, or is it just all the chickens in your area?
That's a good question. I mean, I feel like it's not going to be easy. I mean, you can't underestimate your opponent. And me versus 2 chickens is not going to be a fucking cakewalk.
It totally depends on how organized the chickens are. Because, if you get any kind of weaponry, chickens are fucked. Absolutely. They would have to catch you off guard.
And there'd have to be like 20 of them.
And there'd have to be 20 of them. Like for an able-bodied man. And even then, what are they going to do? It would take, let's say you fucking tripped, broke both your legs, as these chickens are falling you and you're laying on the ground. And maybe, they start pecking. It's going to take them a half an hour to kill you. Like, they ain't that strong.
No. And can't they, flap up like 5 feet?
Yeah.
I mean, I took drum lessons and I had a drum teacher who had chickens walking around everywhere. And those things are like little dinosaurs, man.
They are. They're little raptors, but
I don't want to
they're still birds. They're very light. They're not very heavy.
Right.
Still got them hollow bones.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do anything to get a baseball bat or fucking a golf club or something, you're gonna help. It's gonna help out a lot. I definitely feel like with this one and the next one, I'd want to be out in like the middle of the street or like a wide open space. I don't want to be cornered in like a bathroom or something. I'm gonna be in a tight spot.
And I wonder what like turkeys are gonna do. Are turkeys gonna be like, are they gonna be watching this shit go down? What about like close relatives to chickens? Right. You have like super soldier turkeys coming in. Turkey would scare me a lot more than a fucking chicken would. If I got attacked by 3 turkeys, I'd be shitting my pants. I get nervous around like geese. Yeah, what if geese got involved in this? You know what I mean? They saw what's going down. They're like, we need to help our brothers on the ground, our flightless brothers.
I'm going to leave that up to fucking Canada.
That's a Canadian problem. Mexico's dealing with chickens. Canada's dealing with the geese. We're fucking up turkeys around here.
Okay, so the other one that one got 11.2 comments. The other one was very similar, almost the same. There's a population of 7.5 billion humans and 1 quadrillion ants. If there was to be an ant rebellion, how would you kill your 133,333 ants?
You would never. You would never do it. You know what I mean? There's like I was actually just reading about super colonies of ants. Have you heard about these?
No.
There's a few of them just about like massive colony, like miles and miles and miles and miles long, and they just, it's not like an anthill. They're all interconnected.
Oh God.
And like under, in cities and stuff like that, or like in area. Now I can't remember. Someone had said that Beaverton, where I live, is a super colony, and it's not. There is a massive ant issue like in Beaverton, but we're already trying to kill them, and you can't. You know what I mean? Like, you can't fucking kill them. Like,
what good are they?
I fucking hate ants. I have a serious ant issue in my house, and it pisses me. I have traps everywhere. You can't fucking kill them, dude.
I recently had an ant issue, and I put traps out, and it solved the problem pretty well.
But then, same thing is, what is a fucking ant gonna do? Unless they come up with some kind of poison, they can't do a fucking thing.
Well, I was thinking maybe 133,000 ants isn't as much as you think it would be.
But then both these questions, are kind of giving, the ants or the chickens, it seems like they've upgraded in their, in their mental capabilities. So then, are they able to use weaponry? If they're smart enough to work together and fuck humans, go after that. Yeah. Well, then you'd probably assume they've also, well, what else could we use? You know what I mean? Chickens don't have thumbs, but maybe they start picking up rocks and fly. You know what I mean? Then they'd be smart enough to, maybe, what if 2 sparrows flew a coconut? You know what I mean? Like that whole argument.
Yeah. Yeah. The chicken one's a lot worse. I feel like is even worse than the ant one.
The chicken one, they have a much bigger chance.
Yeah, they have a bigger chance. And it's like, what would you do against your 2.7 chickens? But then the guy bringing up, well, I have a 4-year-old, so now I'm immediately against like 3 chickens or 6 chickens. And it's like, okay, there's going to be a huge population of people that aren't going to be able to take care of any chickens. And so all those chickens are now going to be freaking, brought down upon the sort of middle America people who can take care of them.
It's probably around 10 to 15.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
yeah.
Good luck, Brad, because that's going to be a tough fight. That's going to be
okay. Well, we're talking that talk. There's also the argument of how many of those chickens are fucking useless ass chickens. You know what I mean? What's the percentage of chickens that have been sitting in a cage their entire life, and now they get broken free, but their legs are all fucked up and their wings can't do anything? And they're just these decrepit chickens. And then you got all the baby chickens, so that number would get, that would bring their numbers down a little bit.
Okay, that's a good point. There's a lot of chickens that have just been pumped, but they're just being pumped full of drugs that can't even walk.
Yeah.
McDonald's chickens. That's a good point. I don't know. There's questions from Reddit. It's fucking...
I like this section. I enjoy this. Yeah, I enjoy the questions from Reddit. Yeah. Keep going with that one.
Underneath, there's a population of 7.5 billion humans and 1 quadrillion ants. If there was to be an ant rebellion, how would you kill yours? Someone said, I'd throw 2.7 chickens at them and run away.
Yeah, the chickens would fuck the ants up.
There you go.
So switching gears, dude, I had a weird fucking thing happen a few days ago.
Oh, no.
It was very awkward. So my girlfriend the whole quarantine has forced her to kind of move into my house with her work. So she took over my desk and using my internet, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So she has a 4-year-old. So we've been kind of flirting with the idea of if the 4-year-old can stay here while she works and not interrupt her, so we've been kind of trying it out here and there, bringing the 4-year-old in, because I got to go to work. So it's just her and the 4-year-old.
Right.
So the other day, it was like a few days of trying it out. I get home, and the 4-year-old's obviously, it's a little girl. The 4-year-old's obviously been cooped up all day and wants to go outside. So I kind of feel obligated. Girlfriend's still working. I take the 4-year-old out. And so I live in this apartment complex and it's 44 acres, and they got like little ponds and grass areas and kind of these little wooded areas like scattered about. And so we go walking down. We go down to the pond. There's like a turtle at the pond and all these geese. There's baby geese and ducks, and we're just like having fun looking at animals. And we like walk around the pond and spend probably 20 minutes doing that. And then I'm getting bored, and she fell in the water, so her legs all covered in mud and stuff like that. So we're like walking back to the house so she can change her. She's just being a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
And as we're walking up, there's like this wooded area that I've seen like kids play in, like, young teenagers. Like it's just this little wooded area, and there's these trails that go through it. And she doesn't want to go back home. And she's like, I want to go on an adventure. I want to go on an adventure. So I was like, I see this wooded area, and I kind of wanted to check it out. So I'm like, hey, let's walk this trail. And so we go into this trail, and it looked like a nesting ground for geese. There was like all these feathers all over the place. And we like walking through this trail, and we're almost exiting out the other side, but it's covered in thorn bushes. And so I like tell her, I'm like, hey, stop. Because she's about ready to just plow through these thorn bushes. And I'm like, no, there's thorn bushes in front of you. And then she like sees the thorn bushes, and I don't know why, but she has a full meltdown and just gets really scared because it's kind of dark in this wooded area. And I'm like, I like kind of freak her out by like, whoa, and then I'm like, there's thorns, they'll cut you. And then she just loses her mind and starts freaking out and crying. And so I pick her up, and she's like, I want my mom. And so I'm like walking out of this wooded area, and this dude is standing out, like walking up the street, and he sees me walking out of the woods with this 4-year-old, and she is freaking the fuck out. And like, yeah, I'm like, oh my God, this looks so fucking bad. And then I get up to the house, and not 2 minutes later, a fucking cop starts rolling through the apartment complex. I tell my girlfriend all about it. I'm like, this looked so horrible. Like everything that just transpired. I was like, I guarantee that guy called the cops. Cause yeah, it totally looked like I'm just pulling some 4-year-old girl out of the woods. You know what I mean?
Gee.
It was a very bananas situation. I thought it was comical to me. Like after everything settled down, I was like, that couldn't have been any more creepy.
Yeah, that looks terrible, but it's completely explainable.
It's hard out there for fucking, you hear like old like comedians talk about it a lot. It's weird out there, like being a guy, you know what I mean? Like, this day and age, like 15, 20 years ago, kids used to just go out in the streets. I remember being a kid, like my mom didn't give a shit. Get the fuck out of the house. You know what I mean? And you're gone for 8 hours, as a little guy. And now it's like everyone's so weird. You know what I mean? Like everyone's so fucking weirded out, especially being like a guy. A little kid like comes up and like say, you're like, I get this fucking kid away from me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, as a kid, is like the further you could get away from your house on like an adventure, the more exciting it would get. Like, let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. We're just walking further and further away. And it's just fun. It's like, as long as we're back by fucking dinner time, it's going to be okay. They're not going to send out a freaking search party like they would today. You'll hear about some kidnapping in Miami, and parents in Seattle are going to be all freaked out and terrified because there's just a 24-hour news cycle. Oh my God, they're kidnapping kids everywhere.
Yeah. It kind of goes along with like hitchhiking and stuff. Like I kind of miss that whole, I mean, I hitchhiked a little bit, but now that's like a done, only bums hitchhike.
Yeah.
The trust for your fellow man is at an all-time low. You know what I mean? Like no one trusts anybody. Like definitely. I remember being a little kid, and if that had like situations I'd gotten into, if that happened today, like people would freak the fuck out. I remember like going to some random dude's house when I was like in the 3rd grade, just walking down the street, and like some guy's just like, hey, what's up? You want a soda? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm just with this older guy, and it wasn't creepy. It was just, it was just a guy just sitting there drinking tea on his front porch, and like, hey, and just, you're looking at me weird. It wasn't weird. Like I remember the situation. Like he was just a nice guy. Like maybe, but nothing happened. And it was like, and I guarantee, my parents then would have not even have thought anything of it. They're just like, oh, that guy just was talking to my kid. And nowadays, like, yeah, if you fucking invited some kid into your house, you know what I mean? Like, hey, fucking come up. Yeah, you literally, yeah, SWAT team showing up.
Oh, yeah. So this winter, I got a knock on the door. I got home from work. It was after a day that I had worked, and it had snowed. And I was like, it must have been like March or February, because I'm like, I'm not fucking shoveling one more time. That's it. They can deal with it. Because it's like when all my neighbors shovel, I'm like, now I have to shovel because I have to. Everybody has to. That we're all in this together. But I was like, I'm done shoveling. Fuck it. And then I got a knock on the door, and it was like this pretty young girl, and like her brother, I'm guessing, who was younger than she was, and she's like, "Can we shovel your sidewalk for money?" And I'm like, and I kind of immediately started feeling weird, even that now we're even talking, you know, kind of. I don't know, but like. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't have any cash. I'm like, do you have like PayPal or Cash App? And she's like, I didn't have any cash money, but I really wanted them to shovel. And she's like, no. She's looking at me like I just spoke in French or something. She's like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, I'll go to the store and get cash. I'm like, can you do the driveway too? She's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, I'll be right back. And then I was conflicted trying to figure out how much I was supposed to pay them. And I was calling people asking, how much should I pay these kids? And whatever. But I remember as a little kid, like first grade, me and a buddy going door to door, knocking on houses in the summertime, just asking, hey, is there anything that we can do like to earn some money? Go to the next house, knocking on doors.
And it was no big deal. Yeah, right? Your parents wouldn't even have given a shit, right? Like,
no, we were just trying to make some money, and people were just having us, like, I don't know, pick trash up or whatever the hell we were doing and trying to make money, which is that's like an entrepreneurial, you know, thing that we're doing.
Yeah, and nowadays that shit's done. You know what I mean? That isn't gonna happen anymore. Or, you know, unless your parents know the parents that you're going to knock on their door, that's the only way. It's over.
Yeah. And then I felt like a psychopath just asking them if they had PayPal or Cash App. I'm like,
that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever like.
Well,
you guys got PayPal?
Oh, I didn't have any money in the house, and then I've thought that they were crazy that they didn't have one. I'm like, what? What kind of person doesn't have? Don't you have a phone? And then someone else was telling me, like, you need a bank account for that stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, fuck me.
I don't see how you don't think that that's the silliest question ever.
No, it's 2020. Find a way for me to send you money.
They don't care about Cash App. They're fucking playing Fortnite and fucking and making TikTok videos.
That's very true. I probably should have some cash on hand for whatever.
Boom. Did you hear anything about the man, I wish I would have kind of looked into it a little more. Did you hear the whole Elon Musk thing? Calling everything fascist?
Was he? I mean, I saw him yesterday tweeting that he's going to sell all his possessions, but I think
he's been on a weird little rant lately. Fucking, yeah, he called the whole shutdown fascist. Said, you know, we need to, because they've shut him down. You know, the Tesla factories down in California. He can't, so he's pissed, you know, obviously, as probably most people are that own a big business. But then, then he's on this whole rant. And I can't remember, do you know who his girlfriend is? I don't really know who. What's up?
Is it Amber Heard still?
I'm not privy to culture shit. But I believe she's a musician, fucking model or something like that.
If it's Amber Heard, she's out of her freaking mind.
But she's all pissed because, he wants to sell all his houses. He has 7 houses that total $100 million. And he said he's going to sell all his possessions, all his houses, blah, 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 blah. I fucking love Elon Musk.
No, his girlfriend's like Grimes or something.
Yeah. That's her name. That's her name. I believe she's a musician.
Yeah, it's not Amber Heard anymore.
Is that her?
Some crazy chick. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I was dating Elon Musk, I'd be pretty pissed off if he said he was going to sell all his houses.
He like tweeted the whole, what's it, the national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner.
Really? I did not see any of this.
Yeah, him saying Tesla stock price is too high, in my opinion. That's the one that people really did not like. That and the selling of the physical possessions.
Yeah, I believe he took like a 6% dip in the stock price or whatever right after he tweeted that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's you shouldn't say that, but I mean, he's got reasoning behind it. And then people were saying, I was looking at one and someone was saying like, now people are finally saying that he's not smart, that he's just a dumb nerd or whatever. And it's like, no, I still think he's smart.
I totally disagree with that. I think he's the one person with incredible amount of power that like really doesn't give a fuck what anyone thinks about him. You know what I mean? Like he's doing what he wants to do and could give a shit less about woke culture or, political leanings or anything like that. He's just like, I'm going to Mars. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm doing. I don't give a fuck what you're doing. And I'm going to fund it through Tesla. You know what I mean? And make SpaceX and do all this shit.
Yeah, he thinks so outside of the box that then people are gonna be shocked when he says crazy stuff. It's like you get like a crazy artistic, once in a generation, crazy thinker that's just so out there, and then you're mad that he's tweeting weird shit. It's gonna happen.
I love it. I fall in love with Elon Musk more and more every day.
I like him. Yeah, I'm with
Are you a fan of Teslas?
Yeah, like as an idea.
Do you know much about Tesla, like the cars?
Not really. I mean, we were driving out here in the oil field one day and one fucking flew past us. Phew, this old lady doing like 100. Phew.
Dude, they are bad as fuck. I can't remember what model it is, but like the nice one, the sports car one with the ludicrous mode on it, it'll do 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. That's fucking bananas. Like that is, it's stupid fast. I want a Tesla so bad. I'd kill for a Tesla.
That it would be sweet. I would certainly, own one. They're expensive and there's not a lot of charging stations.
So I kind of went down a path of like looking into Tesla, like watching YouTube videos.
Yeah.
The next step that they're looking into, from what I was hearing, which I think is badass as shit, is the problem all cars have is you can only put so much power to the road. Like at a certain point, the tires are going to break. It doesn't matter. We can push 3,000 horsepower. We can figure out how to do that. But the problem is it doesn't do anything. There's just a weight issue. You're just going to start burning out. You're not going to get any faster. And so the problem is sticking the car to the road, but so this new idea they're coming up with, which I think is fucking brilliant, is the back end of the Tesla is going to have an air tank that'll fucking a compressor that'll fucking build up massive amounts. Like I can't remember what the number was, but 20,000 pounds of pressure or something like that, or some massive number. And then when you like go to drag race in the car, it'll be like a rocket. So the motor, the electric part will still do the same thing. You'll still be able to do 0 to 60. That part's going to run, but then you're also going to have a compressor that forces the front of the car down in a burst. So like right when you gun off the line, you'll have an air shock that'll shoot the car like down into the ground and forward. So then the car can put more power down to the ground. So then you'll be able to, the idea would be you'd be able to do 2 seconds, 0 to 60, just, rocket speed fast. I fucking love it. I'm so about it.
So eventually they were hitting a point where the car was leaving the ground?
No, well, but it's a problem in all cars. Anybody that's into drag racing, that's why the top feelers, that's why those cars are designed the way they are. The long ass, rail cars is because you need the weight. You know what I mean? You need the weight to keep the tires on the fucking ground. You know what I mean? Like you can only put so much power before the power is useless. You can push 2,000, horsepower, 2,000 pounds of torque. But if the car doesn't stick to the ground, it's absolutely pointless. You're not going to go any faster.
I mean, I'd love one. They look fucking nice as hell.
Yeah. I thought they were ugly as shit for the longest time, but once I got into realizing how fast they are, it's like, oh, fuck yeah. And then the self-driving thing, that's badass as shit. You just have to keep your hand on it and it'll fucking change lanes and shit for you.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and people hated that truck design.
Is that a joke? I could never understand. Like, part of me, like the whole time it was going on, I was like, is this Elon like trolling people? You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is our new truck. Like, I've never seen one. Have you seen one on the road?
No. It's like it's like that one guy that, you know, you have the group of 300 million people and that one guy steps out with an idea or like a prototype or something and everyone's just like, ha ha, that's fucking terrible. It's like, okay, well, it was just an idea, you know, we'll think of something else.
They're manufacturing it. I don't know much about it. I saw the truck and it's fucking hideous.
I don't know. I never knew if it was a real thing.
I've seen the semi trucks they're coming out with. Those don't look nearly as hideous. Right.
I mean, they don't want us to drive. They want humans off the road. Let's just call it what it is.
I've gone back and forth on that argument because, 10 years ago that the conversation was kind of already there, self-driving cars. And everyone's like, well, you couldn't trust the computer, blah, 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 to keep everyone safe. I've changed my mind completely on that. I think if everyone switched over, it would be much safer. Like I'd put faith that it would work. I'm totally on board with autonomous vehicles. I think it's great.
There's a button that says order now.
Boom. So I guess it's real. It is god awful. I do not understand.
Oh, hell yeah. Ah.
Oh, that's so bad. How did that get passed? I don't understand. I really thought it was a joke.
I know. And then back here it was saying, we'll start at $39,000.
Oh, that's pretty cheap.
I mean,
it's a lot of money, but
I was always under the impression there weren't charging stations in the country. They were just kind of, big cities.
I don't know much about that. I'm kind of bringing up topics that I don't really have any idea how it works.
It all just starts with crazy ideas and then really expensive products, and then eventually works its way down to the everyman. Just like he's like Steve Jobs, I guess. He's just an idea man, right? But he's still an engineer.
Yeah,
an engineer's mind, that's for sure.
I mean, anyone that talks, I was listening to one of the Joe Rogans with the astronaut guy who kind of worked at SpaceX for a while. Anyone you hear that talks about him, they all say like he's just fucking bananas, like the smartest, just incredibly smart, and about multiple different topics. He can go from talking, space shit with that guy, with a professional astronaut that's been doing it 20 years and know the lingo and know what's going on, and then go over to Tesla and be talking car, propulsion shit and be totally privy to everything, talking to some of the smartest people on the planet about it and keeping up in conversation. That guy's a fucking animal. That guy is a fucking animal.
Yeah, and that thing on that when he was on Joe Rogan that he said about AI, that sent chills down my spine.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
I couldn't tell if I couldn't tell if he was fucking. Part of me thinks he has a good sense of humor because sometimes it seems like he's just fucking with people, just like having fun, toying with people.
Yeah, I think so.
And I kind of felt like the AI thing was, I don't know. Like,
no, I think I saw the fear in his eyes. I was like,
I saw the fear in his eyes.
Fuck. It looked like someone who just seen the devil. I was like, oh God. When he's like, I tried to warn them. He's like, I talked to all the higher up or whatever. I tried to warn them. It's not a good idea. It's like, oh my God, we gotta go. Yeah, crazy.
Well, you want to? What's up?
They opened all the bars and restaurants here. Woohoo!
In North Dakota?
Everything's open.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
All the that got shut down, but everything's at like half capacity.
Well, you're probably going to die. So Got that going for you.
That corona.
The coronavirus. Well, you want to wrap this up and get our guest in?
Let's do it.
So yeah, next we're gonna have. I'm not exact. Originally, it was gonna be 3 people from the band Dust Mice, a Seattle band. I don't know if things have changed a little bit. It might just be the drummer and the singer, or it might just be the drummer. Been kind of seeing if people are gone, but
one of them named Kyle.
No, I don't. I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I only know the drummer. And then I've seen pictures of the other guys, but I don't have any idea what their names are.
I'm excited.
So yeah, we'll be right back with the guest. Thanks, y'all. Hey guys, we're back. We just took like a half an hour break while I was trying to get our guest on. I've been in contact with him over this last week. My buddy Zane, he's the drummer for the band we've been talking about, Dust Mice. We used to be in a band together a long time ago. We've been texting each other via Messenger, and so it shows you how long ago they were on Messenger, and it says 6 hours ago, and it's 10:30, so that means he was probably online at 4 a.m. in the morning. So I'm assuming on a Friday night he was rocking and rolling, and he's probably sleeping right now and has slept through our whole meeting, which is fine. Everything's good. So he's not here. Our guest didn't show up, but that's fine. Again, they're Dust Mice out of Seattle. We played the song last week as our outro. We're going to play it again on our outro tonight, so you can listen to the band again. I believe the song's Antarctica. I was really impressed by it. When we talked about it last week, I hadn't listened to it yet, but I got to listen to it when I was editing the deal, and I don't know if it's rude to say surprised, but I mean, I was like, whoa, this is actually really good. It seemed like it was recorded really well. So that's Dust Mice out of Seattle. Check them out. Hopefully we'll have them on later. I don't know if it'll be next week or if we'll just push it back. They'll probably be on at some point, but yeah, check them out. So we're just gonna, kind of do the guest part without a guest and just continue the podcast out for a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I listened to it like 4 or 5 times today. I liked it too. So
yeah, it's a catchy song. It's really well done.
That rock style, dude. You gotta go rock and roll all night,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what's a rock band if you're not fucking rocking and rolling? Fuck.
Authentic. That's authentic. To miss the interviews, that's authentic right there. That's how you got to do
it. So, we're just going to continue. I'm going to throw a story at him. There's no context to the story. It has nothing to do with anything we just talked about, but it's a funny story. I've had issues deciding if this story makes me out to be a giant piece of shit, but I just find it so goddamn funny. So like a year ago, I worked for a company. I work for a concrete company. We do civil work. We do a lot of work inside sewage plants. So like a year ago, I had been sent up to this job, and it was my first time on the job. But what we were doing is we were working in a UV building. So in sewage plants, it's one of the last things as the sewage goes through. It goes through all these different processes before they send the water back out into the waterways. But pretty much the last building it goes through is called a UV building. It uses UV light to kill all the bacteria. So it was the beginning of a job, and what they were doing is they were doing a shutdown. And in sewage, the lowest flow of sewage is at nighttime, because that's the least amount of shits being taken, people taking showers, sinks running, blah 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 blah. So when you have to do a shutdown, when they have to stop the water flow, they have to do it at the lowest tide, so it's in the middle of the night. So this job I got sent to, we had to show up there at, I believe it was 1 or 2 in the morning. We started, and it was I had to drive from Portland up to Olympia and go to this job. And so yeah, we get there, and a few of my buddies that I knew everyone there. I work for a pretty big company. There's 130 employees. And so we kind of always get scattered about. You're working with some guys here, working with some guys there. So one of my buddies, Kevin, was at this job site. I'd go fishing with him here and there here in Oregon. He's a good friend of mine. But he was there, and then there's like 8 other guys. And so when we get there at 2 a.m, they like round everybody up, and they do like a half an hour explanation of what's going on. And there's a few different jobs that had to be done. We had to build a bulkhead or like a dam at one section of a canal. So it's like this 8-foot canal by 8 foot of sewage water, like running underground. We had to build a bulkhead there to divert water to go a different way. And then while it was down, we had to get into all these channels and pressure wash, the poop and barnacles and stuff that had built up all over the sides of the walls, clean it all out, blah, 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 blah. So when I get there, my job was I got 2 guys with me, and we were going through doing pressure washing. And then the crew Kevin was on, I can't remember what he was doing, but he was doing something else other than the bulkhead. And what they said is once people got done with their jobs, they were going to jump down to the canal with our group and start pressure washing. And they made it very clear. They stopped everyone, and they're like, hey, when you get down in this canal, they had a videotape of it, and they played it on the screen, someone walking through when it was empty, and like it's showing what it looks like down there. And they're like, when you get down in this canal over in this corner of this building, there's a drop off. You need to be extremely careful of this drop off. And what's going to happen is they're going to bring the water down in the canal. But when the water reaches the very bottom, you're not going to be able to see the drop off because it's going to be a flat floor, and the water in the drop off isn't going to sink at all. It's going to be perfectly plain with the floor. So you're not really going to see it. And it's the middle of the night. So it's dark. And they made it very clear. They were very like adamant about like, there's a drop off here. And they're like, it's about 3 feet. It's going to be like a 3-foot drop off. And so then we go to work. Like 20 minutes later, I go down. We're just pressure washing all the walls. And my buddy Kevin comes down like a half an hour later. We'd been working on it for a while. He finishes his job or like an hour later. And he walks down this ladder. And I'm standing right next to the ladder. And he walks down the ladder and then and I'm just blah, blah, blah. And he takes 2 steps and then just disappears. And just drops down into this sewage pit. And he's in full rain gear and rubber boots. And I turn and look at him, and he's doggy paddling, trying as hard as he fucking can to keep his head above water. But he's kind of getting like drugged down by having so much gear on. And he is, he swims. It's on the outside of a building. Kind of outside.
So just like the night skies above you?
Yeah. Yep. There's like a little bit of an overhang, and then like a 3-foot section where it's sky, and we go down into this channel, and then, a few feet from where the ladder was, it drops off, and then there's like a 10 by 10 area of this drop off, and then the channel keeps going down the other way.
And he's in sewage?
Yeah, so it's sewage. It's it's the cleanest part of sewage that you're going to get, but it's still sewage. There's not turds floating around, but I mean, it's gross water. It's at one point there was poop and pee all in this water. So, and he's already off the bat. He does not like the sewage stuff. Like, it doesn't bother me. After a few years of doing it, it doesn't bother me being around sewage. Like, you just get used to it.
Right.
He's more of a cleaner, doesn't like the poop stuff. And he falls in, and dude, I lost it. Like, I couldn't even look at him because I was laughing so fucking hard. And like, he drops down, and I just turn away from him, and I'm laughing my ass off and trying to hide it because I know it's mean. And like, then I go to like try to kind of help him, but he starts swimming away from me, like swims to the opposite side to climb out. And then he swims up and climbs out of the water, and I'm just like staring at him, and he just fucking looks at me and just does that. And dude, I fucking lose it. I just turn around and start laughing and walking away. And then he fucking climbs out and goes up the ladder. They have showers all over, like, just in case something like this happens at a plant. You know, you go get all cleaned up, change your clothes, take a, you know, blah, 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 blah. But it was the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I laughed so goddamn hard, and half the people I talk to can like see the humor. I'm just that sick person that when I see someone going through like horrible shit, it's so funny to me. It is so goddamn funny to me. And
No.
what was funny, the day, like for 2 days after that, I'm such a piece of shit. I kept finding like little memes and stuff and sending it to him of like raccoons drowning and stuff like that. And just was sending him this shit just to kind of tease him about the whole thing.
No, I agree. I feel like when that happens to like my friends, it's funnier though. And when it's like a stranger, I guess. But I would have been laughing as hard as you were for sure.
I find it funnier when it's like a friend. Like it would have been less funny if it was a stranger. Like the fact it was him, that I knew I was going to be able to tease him for, you know, for forever. Like keep bringing it up.
God, that is a disgusting job.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been a janitor before where I just scrubbed toilets, so I understand what you're saying. You just stop thinking.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. And then so there's another kind of side story to that another time I watched it get real bad is we were at a different sewage plant up in Washington. It wasn't a sewage plant, it was actually a pump station. It was like, you know, just sewage is going through the ground and hits a low spot, and they needed to pump the sewage up 30 feet so that gravity can keep doing its thing. And so we're in this like 3-story building, but it's all underground. Like you're just at the 3rd story, you're at the top level, and then you just go down the staircase and keep working down. And on the outside of the building, we had to build this platform that was like 15 feet up from the sewage below, and then 15 feet below the top level. And like you had to climb a ladder to get down to this platform. And it was another night job we had to do in the middle of the night. And I went with this guy named Kelly that I work with. And he's what we were doing is we were doing a tie-in. So we had done all this work, and then we had to put we had to take a flange off a pipe that had been blocked off, and we took a flange off of it and then put a 45 it was like a 12-inch ductile iron pipe, and then had to put, you know, this pipe on, bolt it all together, and then turn the sewage back on. And so I'm up top running a forklift, and this guy Kelly is down on the platform, and it's the middle of the night, it's like 3 a.m, and he gets the 45 all attached and bolted all up, and he's like, man, it wasn't a true 45 like the way the pipes were, so it wasn't really seating correctly. Mm-hmm. And we get it all, you know, we just tighten the shit out of it and hope that the gaskets, you know, just seal. And he's down on this platform, and then we tell him to, you know, he's like, I think it's good. And then we tell him to turn the pumps on, and these are badass fucking pumps, like bad at 12-inch, you know, I don't know what the, you know, gallons per minute or whatever, what they're doing, but they are no joke pumps. These are fucking shooting water. And so they turn the pump on, and this dude's standing on this platform, and it's like just this small little platform, and this shit's right in front of him. And they turn the pump on, and the way the pumps work, you know, it starts, and then it just gets going faster and faster and faster. So the pressure just builds and builds and builds. So this dude's standing on this platform, and this is sewage. Like, this is raw sewage. Like, this stinks. This is when it sprays, you can see the yellow. You can see the yellow tint to everything. It is nasty water. And fucking this dude's on this platform, and they turn the pump on, and it has to, like, it cycles up, and even when you turn it off, it cycles down. It's not just like on off like type of deal. So they turn it on, and it fucking and it starts like kind of coming out the edges, and then it just fucking, it is throwing a 15-foot spray in all directions. And this dude's just standing on this deck getting head to toe drenched in sewage. It just at 3 a.m. Oh, dude. And the same thing, dude. I am just like, just like, oh my God. Like, you know, because, you know, no harm, no foul, you know, it's going to be fine, you know, and it's happening. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. It's fucking happening. He's not going to die. It's just a horrible situation. And so same deal. He had to go take a shower, strip all his clothes off. That guy was at least smart enough to bring. He always had spare sets of underwear and socks, and that's smart to do in our work, is to carry, spare shit just in case something bad happens.
That was the guy that said, oh, it's probably okay.
What? Yeah. He was saying, he's like, this isn't like working, blah, blah, blah. And our boss, the super, is up on top, like, oh, and you're on a time frame. And also, whenever you do the sewage shit, they usually say we have to be online at this time. Once flow we can't get backed up, or it's gonna fuck up a lot of shit, cost a lot of money. So like, we've been working for hours in the middle of the night, and we have to be back online in an hour. So it's like, well, we need to see if go like. And yeah, he just got douched right in front of me.
Dude, that is disgusting, but hilarious too. Good God.
Yeah, I have a lot of disgusting stories like that.
Yeah, that's good work, but I like it.
I just couldn't deal with the cold. I think I'd enjoy the oil fields if it wasn't freezing balls.
I think you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
God, the weather's so nice right now, and it fucking is finally so nice. It's just like 3 weeks ago it was snowing, but it's finally like into the 70s, and it's like, thank God. Oh, dude, it was, get this. So my dog Cash, right?
Okay. Yeah.
It was like 2 winters ago. He was going through this crazy thing where he was having this huge problem with his nails, where he lost like a couple nails. They had to remove a couple nails. They were all like splintering and cracking and falling off. And it was a fucking nightmare, dude. And it was February in North Dakota. And it, for those who don't know, okay, it was, at that time, the coldest temp I saw on my phone was -52, right?
That's so fucked.
And it was dealing with that problem. And I was working a new job, and at the time they needed me to work 15 days in a row. So I was doing this 15 days in a row of work, dealing with this fucking dog problem, dealing with the weather. I had this thought. I was standing at the back door where I had just finished untying or wrapping a Walmart bag around his leg because he had a bandage wrapped around his foot that the vet put on. And they were like, by the way, don't get it wet. Don't get the bandage wet. Oh, it's okay. Okay, so your house is surrounded by snow, and don't get the bandage wet, and the dog has to go outside to go to the bathroom. So good luck with that. So I had just wrapped a Walmart bag around his leg so he could go out to go to the bathroom again. And I had this thought in my mind. I was like, we're not going to make it. We're just not going to make it. We aren't going to make it out of this winter, dude. Because during this 15 days in a row, I was having to like leave work. There was like 3 vet appointments in those 15 days in a row where I kept having to leave work early to go get him, take him back to the vet. And they were like, do these pills 3 times a day. So good luck with that. Do these pills 3 times a day. How are you supposed to do it in the middle of the day? Do these pills 3 times a day. Don't get the bandage wet. Fucking work 15 days in a row. Oh, and it's -52 at the same time. So good luck. I was like, we're not going to make it. This is it.
Dude, fuck that. That also ties into, I love dogs, but I am really kind of against owning a dog just for like that shit. There's such a pain in the ass. Like, I have a cat. I love cats. And cats are so easy. Like, you don't have to do when I was working up in Olympia, I was gone for 4 days at a time. I didn't lose any sleep about the cat. I was like, cat's fine. You know what I mean? You got a litter box, got a full thing of food, got water. Fucking cat's good. Yeah, fucking a dog. No, you can't leave a dog for more than 8 hours without him worrying about it fucking shitting all over the house.
Yeah. No, and he had like a surgery on his leg before. We had this whole leg surgery debacle, and then the fucking nail thing, which was just like the first time he came running inside, and his foot was bleeding. He comes running towards me like around my legs because he's fucking worried, and his foot is just bleeding. The nail has fallen off. I pick him up, put him in the bathtub. I'm trying to figure out how to stop the bleeding. Like, and afterwards, if you would have looked at that bathtub, it would have looked like I fucking killed somebody in there. It looked like Dexter / Sopranos fucking scene. And during those times, you're like, why do I have this thing living with me? Why do we have these things living with us? It's just crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, I'm stoked you got a dog. It seems like you take good care of them, but like I couldn't be a single guy and take care. There's just no way. It's just, it would worry me too much. You know what I mean? It's extra stress that I don't want to ever take on until you got like a family. If you got like a wife and kid, you know, that you can leave and go do stuff and they can take care, you know, or you can share the responsibility.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think it's good for kids to grow up with a dog.
I'm all about dogs. I fucking love dogs. It's just they can be a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, they can. That one moment I had standing there, -52, 15 days of work, dog fucking nails are falling off. I was like, this is it. We're not going to make it out of this one alive. Ugh. But then once the 70-degree weather comes, you're like, oh, it's just so good.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it, man. Like I couldn't do that. Fuck. No way. That's too cold.
It's insane. It feels like you're on another planet.
Can't you like go work in the oil fields in like Texas or something like that? Like somewhere where it'd be way more pleasant?
Maybe. Texas doesn't sound very appealing to me.
I really want to go live in Texas. I think that's where I'm going to end up is Texas. I think Texas is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I hear good things about like Austin, stuff like that, you know, but dude, New Orleans, I went to New Orleans recently, and there's oil in Louisiana. I went to New Orleans last December. I think there's a strong argument that is the greatest city in this country.
Because it's open container laws or what?
Oh yeah, they don't care about that, but it's like I think it gets looked over a lot. And I hear that it's a bigger destination for bachelor parties than Vegas is these days. That place is fucking, you would like it. That place is great.
I've been there, but I haven't been there since I've been 21. So like I've been to New Orleans and it was before Katrina.
Wow.
So I don't know if that's if that changed anything, but I really did. Like there's a feeling there that's just different. Well, just you just go to the South and it's just so different from anybody raised in the Northwest. Like,
yeah,
just a feeling, just the food, the coffee shops, like people just act different. And,
they are all about the music, the live music, just like the live jazz being played everywhere. God, I fucking love it. I mean, I went in December, so granted that it was only like, it got up to like 68, 69 degrees, which was perfect. They said, don't go in August. You will fucking hate it. But it was amazing. It was the greatest 5 days of my life. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I love the fucking like Southeast. I think it's it's cool. I've spent a little bit of time in Florida. Florida, I think would be cool. It's so different down there. Like the alligator thing, like the fucking alligators all over the place. It's so bananas to drive down a freeway and see an alligator crossing sign. It's just like, what is this place?
That is crazy.
And that's up into New Orleans, from pretty much from Louisiana to Florida. It's all like that. It's like swampy, down on the bayou type fucking thing.
Yeah. It was like, we're coming into land as we're arriving in New Orleans, and the pilot comes on the intercom and he's like, just to let you guys know, like the runway is very bumpy and it's not a very good runway kind of thing. And I'm like, what? And the guy that I was going down there with starts laughing, and he's like, oh yeah, it's this whole thing with New Orleans where the streets are all full of potholes and all like uneven and not kept up or whatever. He's like, it's just funny, it's the runway too. And I'm like, oh my God. Sure enough, when you land, it's fucking boom, boom, like bumps up and down. I'm like, Jesus Christ. It was good.
Yeah, I do love New Orleans. I'd love to go back. I thought what I found like the most interesting about New Orleans is I went and stayed a few days with a family friend, like our family, my mom and dad and me, and went and stayed with this older couple. and they lived close to the French Quarter, but they lived like they were in a neighborhood with like a bunch of people. And what I found bananas there is you'll have like a super nice house, and then 2 houses down have the most ghetto house you've ever seen. And you don't really see that in other places. You know, usually all the ghettos over here, all the nice is over here. And in New Orleans, it's just like shitty, 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 super nice, shitty, 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 super nice. Like, like the house I was in was a very nice house. Yeah, I'm assuming probably $1 million house. And the next door neighbor had grass growing 3 feet tall in their front yard. And like, it seemed like there was no HOAs anywhere. Like, it was just like, just weird. Like at the French Quarter, I remember being in the French Quarter and everything's beautiful. And then you go 2 blocks down and there's like this wall and it says no dumping in giant letters. And there's 500 trash bags just piled up against this wall, like 2 blocks down from multi-million-dollar houses. Just like, it is a cool town. I'd love to go back.
Yeah, it is. I think you could make an argument that it's the greatest city in this country. Granted, it's one of the few that I've been to, but I'll fucking stand by it.
Okay. I don't know if the greatest. I don't know what would take the cake as the greatest. I don't even know. I don't think there is a greatest fucking city. They all fucking suck.
Well, sure. Yeah, they all suck at the same time. Yeah, for sure, man.
I think the greatest city would end up just being a tide for like a bunch of small towns, not big towns.
Yeah, definitely. You know, like what, like 50,000, 100,000?
Like, you know, not to, you know, I hate Sandpoint, but I also like love Sandpoint or little towns like that, you know, like Tahoe's or fucking, you know, Jackson Hole, Wyoming or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I could get behind that too.
Like Bend, Oregon, or have you ever been to Bend?
No.
Yeah, Bend like has that small. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's all personal preference, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, so there was something else I wanted to bring up. It's been on the list for a while. Have you ever been able to control dreams before?
No, but I looked into it.
Do you not believe it?
No, I definitely believe it. I think it takes a lot of practice, and there's a lot of things you can do to practice.
I don't know. I've never tried that. I've heard the practice thing. Like years ago, I heard a kid tell me, he's like, throughout the day, like 10 times, you need to like knock on something and ask yourself, am I dreaming? And if you do that enough, then in your dream, you'll like do it. And then you'll think about it and be like, oh shit, I'm in a dream, and do it. When I was in the 8th grade and 9th grade, I used to be able to, there was probably 30 times I was able to control my dreams. And it was the funnest fucking thing ever. Absolutely. So goddamn fun. And then it died out. I don't know. I've always wondered if it's like drug use or like alcohol or pot or something that's made it die down, or if it was just a younger thing, just being young. Yeah. But the last time I did it was like a year ago. And before that, it had been like 8 years since I had done it. And so I've like lost the ability to do it. But when I was young, man, it was so fun. I remember in the 8th grade, I had one where I'm in school, like in the dream, I'm in school and I'm in the band room, which I didn't even have that class. But in this dream, I'm in the band room and there's all these kids, and like all these kids I knew, like in real life. And I realized I was in a dream, and then, yeah, got really excited. I didn't wake up, and then I could control everything around me. So I just made all the girls get naked it was fucking amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And then I've been, you know, other dreams, I've been able to like levitate, like realize I'm in a dream and then start flying and just be like, oh, I can control everything. And then just start like, some of them I have a hard time. You know, from what I remember is I could get like a foot off the ground, and then I'd kind of like touch back down and just like get like a foot off the ground. And then maybe 1 or 2 times I was able to have like full flying dreams where I realized I was in the dream and then just take off and just take off flying.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, you even have like reoccurring dreams that you remember. Like I remember a few that I've had. It's so weird.
Oh, you don't remember your dreams?
No, I do.
Like every night? Do you remember your dreams?
No, not every night. I mean, there's some things that it's like you like incorporate something new into your diet, or you're sick and you start taking something, and then all of a sudden you realize it triggers all these fucking really crazy dreams, like lucid dreams that you do remember. And I do remember them a lot of times, but then I have like reoccurring ones where it's like ones that I've had like, 3 or 4 or 5 times over
Like to the T, or just the situation is similar?
No, I'd say to the T.
Oh, really? I don't think I've ever had that before. I've had similar dreams, but not to the T.
Huh. Yeah, it'd be, oh God. Sometimes you do wish that you fucking write something down every once in a while, but I don't know. When I was researching how to have more lucid dreams, they were kind of just saying that you can do things to recognize that you're dreaming. Not that you could actually control them, but that you could just kind of like realize, oh shit, I'm dreaming right now, and just kind of, have that thought, but that you could actually have control over them. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it from what I remember is it ends up turning into this game of like half the time when you realize it, you just instantly wake up. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of this teetering act of you realize it, and then you like, sometimes you start begging yourself like, don't wake up, don't wake up, don't wake up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and you can kind of feel yourself like getting pulled out of the dream a little bit and like into reality.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had like, it's been a long time, but from what I remember, it was absolute control. Anything I wanted, anything. I could control people. I could make them do what I wanted. With the girls, I just made every girl in the class just get naked. I'm just like, yes, this is awesome. Like fucking.
Yeah, of course, that's the first thing.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you do that?
Right. Boom. Done. Yeah. So you've had similar dreams, but not like to the T reoccurring. I feel like I've had to the T reoccurring ones, but it's been a long time.
No, I'd say, as far as reoccurring, once in a while I have very similar dreams of like being chased. Like I have those dreams where like you're being chased and you can't fucking run. You're just like in slow motion and like something's fucking chasing you. I have that kind of reoccurring dream, but it's not the same. I remember one with like an alligator chasing me, and then one with like a guy chasing me, and it's like the same fucking thing where are you trying to punch someone and your punch is just going like this fucking fast, and you just like, ah. Ah.
Lion's. Oh, so I was I was taking lion's mane. I took like a whole bottle of lion's mane over a couple weeks. I don't know. Joe Rogan recommended it.
It's one of his main sponsors.
Yeah, that was giving me some fucking trippy dreams.
That's just like mushroom tea, right? Isn't that what that is?
It was just a pill, but it was supposed to support your memory.
Huh.
But it was giving me some crazy dreams too. I took a whole bottle of it over a couple of weeks and then stopped taking it. I think like NyQuil always gives me wild dreams too, and then I think weed took away my dreams for me completely.
That's what I was gonna say. When you go through a period of smoking weed and then you quit, that's when it'll get, to me, like that's when it'll get bananas. For like a few weeks after you quit and you're like sobering up from it, your dreams will just be very vivid. Oh, boom! What are you looking up over there?
Trying to find out the lion's mane that I bought. Oh, it's this one here.
Boom! Would you recommend it to people?
Yes, because I did think that it was having an effect. I just stopped taking it. I still have another bottle.
Have you ever done the alpha brain stuff?
No.
I've been wanting to try it. I just have yet to buy one.
Yeah, I think it's pretty pricey.
Yeah. Yep. I've heard. I've had some friends that have done it, and it seems about half and half. Half of the people I talk to say they notice a difference, and then half of the people say that it's bullshit. Like they don't feel any different at all.
Yeah, on Amazon it's $80 for a bottle. Fucking ridiculous.
Boom. Yeah, I might at one point I might try it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd love to try it and like do one of these podcasts and see, really, then you could go back and like see if you notice a difference in yourself.
Right. Well, you want to wrap it?
Yeah, I got to go potty, so we might as well wrap this thing up.
Sweet. Episode 3 of the show, Spotify, Apple, whatever, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, of course, Erick and Bradshaw.
I know it's on
.com, Erick and Bradshaw @gmail.com. Email us a crazy, weird question that doesn't make any sense that we can try to answer. That'd be fun.
Or if you want to be a guest or something like that, anything, just hit us up with anything, any idea you got. We're happy to hear it or entertain the idea.
Yeah, be a guest and we can talk to you and you can plug your shit.
Yeah, plug away. Well, it was good talking to you, buddy.
For sure. We'll be back next week.
Another one down. Well, have a good night, guys, or good day, or whatever time it is you're watching this. Until next time. Bye.